here in the heartland. This is the working man. These are the fields of dreams of American. No, you can't take that away, 'cause I wanna stay here in the heartland. I'm here in the heartland.
So in episode 7 of Why Iowa, we talked about how the land that became Iowa went from French control to Spanish control, back to French control, and eventually to the United States. That kind of set the table for today. Today we're going to talk about Julien Dubuque. Now, Julien Dubuque was born in 1762 in Canada. This is the same year that the French had secretly given the land to Spain so the British wouldn't get it after the French and Indian War. And Julien Dubuque would become the first European to settle in Iowa. When Julien Dubuque was in his early 20s, around 1785, he made his way down to Prairie du Chien in present-day Wisconsin. This was a trading post along the Mississippi River, and he soon learned about large lead deposits across the river in what is now known as Iowa. As Julien Dubuque looked more into this, he discovered that this area was controlled by Chief Kettle and the Meskwaki. And so he started to learn more about the Meskwaki, their language, their culture, started to interact with them and trade with them. And as he learned more about their mining, he discovered that they were taking large deposits of lead and selling it as is. Julien quickly figured out that if he could get control of the mines, he could build a smelt, which he would melt down the lead into bars that he could ship down the Mississippi to trade. So finally in 1788, Julien Dubuque convinced the Meskwaki and Chief Kettle to give him rights to the land to continue mining lead. Now, lead was very popular at this time because it was melted down into shot or bullets. So Julien Dubuque, there were several stories about how he was able to convince the Meskwaki. Now, part of it was he did befriend them and learn part of their culture and interacted with them on a regular basis. But he also had a few tricks up his sleeve. And Julien Dubuque, they thought, was magical. And one of the things Julien Dubuque did was he told the Meskwaki that he would set Catfish Creek on fire. Now, at that time, they thought, yeah, no way you're going to start a creek on fire. But unbeknownst to the Meskwaki, he had sent a man upriver who had dumped oil in the creek. And as that oil stream started to come down the creek, he threw a torch in the creek, starting the creek on fire, which to everyone's amazement, he had pulled off magic. Another time he had come to the village of Chief Kettle, and he told him during the day that he was going to make the sun disappear. Julien Dubuque knew of an eclipse that was to occur, and shortly before the eclipse was to begin, he called for the sun to quit shining, and the eclipse took place, and then the sun returned. He also wanted to appease the Spanish. So he traveled to St. Louis to visit the governor, and he informed him that this area that he had received permission from the Native Americans to mine lead, that he was going to call it the Mines of Spain. And this impressed the Spanish governor, and so they granted him also permission to this land that was under Spanish control. Julien would eventually fall into debt and would have to give away his mines. And when he passed away in 1810, the Meskwaki buried him on a high bluff overlooking the conjunction of Catfish Creek and the Mississippi River. And the city of Dubuque would be built on what was Chief Kettle's village. Today, Julien Dubuque is still very evident in Dubuque, Iowa. Whether you visit the historic Julien Inn, which was reportedly owned by Al Capone and was his getaway from Chicago, or you can go and explore where over 250 years ago Julien Dubuque would have settled, in the Mines of Spain recreation area. As a reminder to all our visitors, all Iowa students have free admission to the Iowa Hall of Pride thanks to Musco Lighting.
Two seasons as a tight end, and then one season as just when I was a linebacker, I was special teams. That's what got me on the map, was just being a walk-on and making plays on special teams. That's what got me my meal ticket to work to get a scholarship. And then after that year of being a tight or a linebacker and playing on special teams, I made the move that off season to tight end. Coach Ferentz, talked to me. He's like, I think you'd be, a really good tight end. You just have that natural instinct, because I'd go out there and play catch with Kyle, a really good friend of mine, Kyle McCann, and just warm him up and play catch. So about a year later, I was like, all right, let's do this. So it took about a year to talk me into it.
Here we go, Cook. Here we go.
Good job. Find somebody. Let's go.
Playoff football is something special. You've been a great group to coach. You've been after it all frickin' year, getting better. Okay, now it's time to show and prove it.
To right across the motion. They'll bubble pass it out to Brown. Brown has all day. He'll have a big gain on the carry. give it on off. Here's a runner to the left side of the formation. That is Hanselman, who will take it to the house. Aspergren throws it out into the flats, caught by Capaldo. Capaldo makes a man miss down the sideline, first down. Fullback in as well as Jones, runs up the middle. Jones met by the Huskies. The pile falls forward, and Jones is in for a touchdown.
Nice job. Great answer. Nice job.
Now it's a toss left to Forgy. Forgy trying to find a running lane. Forgy has to cut back up underneath some guys. He's got an open hole. Forgy to the 5. Forgy rolled down. Claymeyer gives it off. Forgy dives up the middle. Forgy trying to push the pile. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown. So run to the right side. Diving for the goal line. Parkins is in. Going to be fielded by Capaldo at his own 5-yard line. Capaldo takes it from the 5, has a running line. Capaldo up the middle, across the 40, across the 45, across the 40 again, 35, 30, down the sideline. North Polk's going to take it to the house. A 95-yard kickoff return. Going right side, running it down. Here's a running lane for Dawson Forgy across the midfield. 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Huskies. Dawson Forgy. Up to the left, giving on off in the misdirection to Forgy. Forgy runs right, spin move. Dawson Forgy puts him on a spin cycle and scores. Wishbone set, they're going to toss it off right. Dawson Forgy to the end zone, touchdown Huskies. 3 and a dive into the end zone. Thomas Jones will run it in again.
Touchdown.
Ball going to the end zone here. Push off, and Capaldo is going to get the catch. Thomas Jones lined up. He is going to run it, running upwards, and the Huskies get the stop.
Survive in advance. Survive in advance. Let's bob this thing. Bob, get out. Let's go.
Go, boys!